Hey everybody, it's Randy with Carchaeology, and I wanted to share some photos of a recent trip that I took up to Los Angeles driving my Porsche Boxster. I started out early on a Friday morning to aim up the fabled Angeles Crest Highway to meet up with a group of people at the Good Vibes Breakfast Club. This is a weekly gathering every Friday morning up at Newcomb's Ranch. It's just a fun gathering of people. It's primarily Porsche centric, however, all cars are welcome, and all they ask is that you bring good vibes along with you. Always fun to see the cars that come up the mountain for that event. It's an absolutely fabulous road, so the vast majority of the cars that are there are ones that can entertain themselves on that road. Again, a wide variety of stuff from a slam Tesla to all the different Porsches. Newcomb's Ranch is closed currently. The property is up for sale. I don't know the status of that, but it doesn't matter. Everybody shows up anyway. Some coffee and donuts show up at one point, and everybody has a good time. Now, it's just a Friday morning event. Everyone bails out of there fairly quick, and so I did as well. But when in LA, you might as well do some LA things. So I found my way downtown and made a stop at the Petersen Automotive Museum. Now, I've been to the Petersen many times before, but every time you go, it's a little bit different. They have constantly rotating new exhibits on display, and so every time I go, it seems like I'm seeing new stuff, and that's one of the best parts about the museum. It's not just the same stuff every time you go. There is new treasure that's constantly in and out of that place, and it's a pleasure to see. They had a fantastic display of vehicles that were used in Bond films. That was probably one of the best Bond displays I've seen. I saw a great one in England at the Bewley Museum there, the National Auto Museum in England, but I think this one tops it personally. Seeing the variety of vehicles that were used, seeing some of the prop cars, some of the special effects stuff that is prevalent in those films, the faux damage and things like that. And being somebody that has been involved in film in the past and props and that sort of thing, it's fun to see that stuff saved and celebrated and shared with others. There was a really nice display of Pininfarina cars in one of the galleries there. Some of the best automotive designs ever came out of that place. This Chisitalia there is probably one of my favorite cars ever. Just spectacular. A couple of the Runge cars there. Those are hand-built cars here in the U.S., mostly based on Porsche stuff. Cool to see two of those cars there on display. Wide variety of cars of the past. Some interesting stuff. The Tucker, of course. They had some movie cars, which are always a crowd favorite. I mean, we are in Southern California. This is Hollywood, and people come expecting to see that sort of stuff, and they did not leave disappointed. Ecto 1 from Ghostbusters, absolutely fantastic. Loved that car. Let's see, wide variety of stuff. I'm just kind of rambling as I go through here. This was a section on cars of the future, which I've always loved that sort of thing. Everybody's views of what the future of transportation might be, and looking back at these designs and seeing how wrong they were is always a treat. Cool artwork on the walls there. Interesting motorcycles and stuff as well. Nice Model T Ford. That was an interesting one with the open side window, which is pretty cool. Let's see, here's a couple more of the movie vehicles. That was another future car. Of course, you've got Lightning McQueen, which was certainly awesome to see. They had an off-road display that was super cool as well, including concept of a Volkswagen buggy and the original Old Red. There was early barn door deluxe bus that used to belong to a friend of mine, Mike Hornbecker. It traded hands, went to a couple of different places, and now is out here in California as part of a big collection, and they were kind enough to loan it to the museum. Let's see, there were some motorcycles, electric vehicles there. Here's a couple more images of the of the VW and stuff. Anyway, the electric motorcycles, this electric car concept thing called Another Sedan was really awesome. More art car than real car, I would say. Same with this motorcycle that was basically a mirrored block that would go down the road. Great display of McLaren race cars of the past. A lot of bright color in that particular room. Loved seeing that. Here's some more experimental, weird things. Oh, the hypercar exhibit. There was a variety of hypercars there. Some of the stuff I couldn't even pronounce, but all of it looked extraordinarily fast, and it was fun to see that level of vehicle. Let's see. More of the crazy hypercars. That one was probably the wildest one. Look at those big giant exhaust ports on the back. Spectacular looking thing. I mean, it looked like it was straight out of a Batman movie. The 32 Ford exhibit is something that's going on. We're dealing with the anniversary of the 32 Ford, which is probably one of the most highly celebrated years of a particular car maker. They had another exhibit of cool electric stuff, with electric cars definitely being a part of the future. It was fun to see some of the electric cars of the past there on display, as well as motorcycles and stuff too. Beautiful barn door bus, old red. The first Myers Manx was there. Some few little artsy shots of stuff that I papped as I walked around and looked at everything. Really had a good time. Didn't spend a whole lot of time there. Just took in the eye candy all the way through. I did not do the vault tour. I just went through the basic main exhibits and enjoy what I saw. And then I got on out of there. So I had other plans set up for the day. I had some work to do in Orange County, California, and then was aiming back to hang out at home, back at my childhood home, to meet up with my mom and my son. So driving through LA, nice warm sunny day, some interesting cars and traffic here and there. Here I am at home. That's my son packing for his big trip. And the next morning, I dropped him off at LAX for a grand adventure to Italy for schooling. From there, while I was in town, I dropped by the Enderle Center Cars and Coffee. This is in Tustin, California. Again, it's primarily a Porsche-centric event, but other makes and models do show up. It's a nice little casual cars and coffee event. And since I was driving the Boxster, it seemed fitting to show up there, although I would have loved to have gone home with this 250 SE Mercedes. That thing was really beautiful. Cool to see an Isuzu Via-Cross, and it was stellar, beautiful. Bunch of 914s, including this 914-6. This was a bit of an outlaw, the way that it was built. Really neat looking car. I loved the interior. I loved all the design and stuff. A lot of creativity in the Porsche scene these days. It's not all about restoration and keeping them perfect. However, there were some of those cars on display as well. But it's fun to see the outlaw approach and the unique details that people are putting into those. I love that Highway Patrol Z28 Camaro. I don't know if it was a real cop car or not, but it sure looked like a ticket waiting to happen. This was a beautifully done early 912 with some mild custom touches to it. Great color, great details. Really enjoyed that. Some Mercedes. This Cobra was really neat. 521 horsepower in that little thing. The Hanging Judge, a GTO Judge with probably the best license plate ever. Beautiful Vet. V8 Pinto was pretty wild. And more Porsche goodness wherever you look. This Froggy 73, that was a beautiful car, nicely done, really, really slick. In any case, that was my day of a couple of car shows rolling around LA. I hope you enjoyed it. Now I'm going to pet the dog. Bye-bye.